2022. We appreciate you joining us. This is just a little reminder to let you know that the program is brought to you courtesy of the localities that you see here, localities on the peninsula. We are pleased to work together and provide this opportunity. Today, we are very fortunate to have Jolie Spiers from our own Small Business Development Center. And we were very pleased with ourselves for coming up with the help for your HBB. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3 with the SBDC, some alphabet soup, but you know, the whole rhyming alliteration thing works, I think. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to hand this off to Jolie, who has all the really important things to say. And Jolie, you want to give just a little bit of background? You're sort of new again to the area, returning to the area in this new role. So welcome.
Everything old is new again. Thank you for the warm welcome, Kate and Matt. It's really great to be back in Hampton Roads. I grew up in Hampton. My father was stationed at Langley Air Force Base for 7 years. So I went to middle school and high school in Hampton. Those were very formative years for me. I've always felt like a Hampton Roads native. And my sister and her husband, who works at NASA Langley, they moved back to the region about 18 months ago. And when she came back, I thought, hey, what am I waiting for? I've always loved Hampton Roads too. And I've been back in the area since June, and it feels so good to be back home again. I'm thrilled to be working not only in, you know, the historic Triangle area, but throughout Hampton Roads. My office is based in Norfolk, but we serve the 18 localities from Williamsburg all the way across the peninsula, all the way across the south side over to the eastern shore. So a really large geographic service area. But what I like about that is, for me, it's all one big place. It's all one big community. And I think that what is good for one part of Hampton Roads is good for all of us. So as Matt or York County Development just put in the chat, make sure that you, if you have any questions, please, you know, drop them along the way. We don't need to wait for the end. Just throw them in the chat. And if I don't see them, I'm sure Kate will help me monitor that and just jump right in and let me know if there's something that I've missed. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, which means you're going to see a lot of junk before I get my PowerPoint pulled up. Here we go. And let me just change my settings here. Okay, I think we're all set. So again, we've got the Hampton Roads Small Business Development Center. Just to tell you a little bit more about us. Oopsie, my slides don't seem to be wanting to advance. We tried this before everybody came on board and it was working, so I'm not quite sure why it's a challenge right now. Okay, well, it's going to be a weird situation, but we'll make it work. Okay.
There you go. It's working now, Jolie. It just took it a second to transition.
We are a team. I'm just going to read this. We are a team of business and technical experts available to listen, advise, and assist entrepreneurs. It's really important to know that our services are confidential, completely confidential, and free of charge. And our commitment is to help small businesses achieve their business goals. And to do that, we offer one-on-one assistance. We have curated research. We have access to technical experts and professionals, not just on our team, but also throughout our statewide network. And we do lots of timely events and trainings, including training programs with our partners, like the localities that are part of this home-based business group. So it's a really great organization to be a part of. I'll share a little bit more about, we are part of a national small business development center network that is funded by the SBA. So about half of our funding comes from the SBA and through George Mason University, which is the host of the Virginia SBDC. There are 29 centers throughout Virginia. And again, I represent the one in Hampton Roads. And the rest of our funding comes from service partners here in the area, including the localities that are part of the home-based business network. So I really appreciate York County, Williamsburg, Hampton, James City, and Newport News, all of the folks on the peninsula economic development partners that support our work. And I'm still just struggling with my slides. Okay, so that was a big mouthful about what we did, but really our goals are simple. We help business starts. So that would be like businesses that are new in the ideation phase, just in that startup mode. We like to help folks as they're thinking about starting a business or just starting a business, make sure that they're getting off to a really solid foundation. We help with business growth and expansion. So existing businesses that are trying to take their business to the next level, and all of that adds up to business success. This doesn't look great, but I did want to share a little bit about some of our metrics over the past 5 years. So again, I'm relatively new to my role. I've been with the organization just a couple of months now. But the first thing that I wanted to do was kind of take a look at where we've been over the past 5 years. And so I want to share this with you as well, because it helps you know that not only does the SBDC have a real impact in your community, but it lets you know that you can trust us and count on us to provide you with that solid business expertise and advice, because these results, I think, really speak highly for themselves. So over the past 5 years, we've had 3,200 clients. We've helped those clients form more than $50 million in capital formation. We've helped 70 businesses get started, helped create more than 1,000 jobs, retain more than 2,000 jobs, and we've spent almost 13,000 hours with our clients. So one other note, the capital formation, business start, job creation, and job retained categories, those are just based on a 15% response rate from the businesses that we serve. So those numbers are actually much higher, but I'm pretty proud of them. And like I said, I think it demonstrates that our business advice is solid, our expertise is solid, and we're really here to help you move your business to the next phase. Okay, so some of the areas that we do that one-on-one business advising around are, again, business ideation. People that are thinking about what a business that they would like to start is all about. We can help folks with business planning, including writing a business plan. And, you may or may not be surprised to know that lots of existing businesses are there without a business plan. There's lots that you can do on the back of a napkin, but there can come a time in the stage of your business where having a written business plan will be really beneficial to you. For one thing, it kind of can help stay course correct when things get a little bit overwhelming and you're growing in a lot of different directions. It can be that roadmap that keeps you on track. And as we'll see a little bit later in the conversation, it's something that financial institutions are also looking for often as well when you come seeking a loan. We can help with market position. So just kind of determining where you are, what the competitive landscape might look like for your business, staffing, human resources, public relations, branding, lots of financial help, especially around building out your financials and access to capital. A tool that we use is Growth Wheel, and I'm not sure how familiar y'all are with this, but if you've never used Growth Wheel before, it's something that most of the SBDCs in the state of Virginia use, and I think SBDCs across the country use this model. It's international, it's really pretty cool, and it breaks your business down into these 20 key focus areas and that deal with customer relations. So that's kind of, your marketing, your sales, your communications, the operations side of things, which includes all of your financials, your real estate, your IT systems, the organization of your business. So again, legal issues, how you do your business procedures, staff, any partnerships that you may have, the way your business is structured. Are you an LLC or a sole proprietorship? And then, of course, your business concept. And that's really, again, about your revenue models, business ideas, who your customers are, how you're identifying them. Now, as you know, as business owners, you can't possibly be thinking about all 20 of these things at one time. And so what's really cool about Growth Wheel is that you can kind of rate yourself. And I did this the other day with a project that I was working on just here internally for my office. And I was thinking, oh, there's a lot going on with the center right now. I've really got to focus. I can't be looking at all 20 of these things. They all feel really important. But then you can just sort of like go through this exercise and you fill in, you kind of rate yourself, and you do this literally in 3 minutes, and it's amazing what pops out. So this is an example of one, and you can kind of see that based on the way that the focus areas are filled in, this sample company, they're really strong in product portfolio, really strong with their business ideas, strong in marketing. And you can tell that because it's filled all the way in. But the areas that they could work on a little bit could be market position, branding, and legal issues. And again, it's just such a really great way to kind of, in really 3 minutes, hone in on the focus areas for your business. And then there are a lot of resources in each of these categories and some really cool decision sheets that can kind of take a lot of the guesswork out of it for you. So for example, I was working with a business the other day, and they were thinking about bringing some new partnerships to the table. And if I had just given them a sheet of paper and said, okay, well, list all the partners that you can think of and like what they might want to do with you and what that structure would look like, that feels so overwhelming to just like have a piece of paper and say, here, map out your partnerships. But there's a decision sheet for that, and it takes all of the guesswork out of it. So you get to use your brain for like fun, creative thinking instead of just trying to like figure out all the components of it. So huge fan of Growth Wheel. Be happy to walk you through one of these focus sheets or a decision sheet down the road. There are other business planning tools that we use, and those include some here. And these are really terrific software and databases that we have access to through the SBDC. And so you can see Growth Wheel is highlighted, IBIS World, SBDC.net, and then Vertical IQ is a great one. So I'm just going to show you an example of what Vertical IQ looks like. And I was thinking like, okay, home-based businesses. Lots of times a home-based business is a home builder, right? Many people who are doing single-family homes and construction, they're doing that out of a home-based office. I know that's true for my dad who did that and my uncles. They didn't necessarily have you're doing it out of your kitchen table, really. So I chose that as an example, and I pulled this is a 30-page report, but I pulled a couple of snapshots so that you can see the type of information that Vertical IQ can provide. It's a nice snapshot that shows you how many companies are in this space. So, you can see from the report, there's about 48,000 single-family home builders. The substitutes for that, so like, why are people not going to come to you? Because they're going to buy an existing home, or they're going to go to a residential developer like a Ryan Homes community. So they won't be coming to you for that. Who some of the new entrants are. So, you're always going to be looking at general contractors that might want to start their own firm. And then it talks a little bit about suppliers and buyers. It gives you a snapshot of like the industry demographics, and all of this can be very interesting if you just kind of want to do a little bit of benchmarking for your own business and see how you're comparing to your peers. There's balance sheets. These are based on other firms that have been surveyed. And so it kind of lets you see how your numbers might stack up to the competition. And then just some good questions to think about for every business under this How Firms Operate section. So for example, how many projects does your company work on at any one time? And this tells us right here that small firms, particularly luxury home builders, often limit the number of homes built each year and may work on fewer than 10 homes annually. So if you're in that category and you're like, oh gosh, we only did 8 houses this year. I mean, that seems to be working for us, but should I be doing 20? Well, not necessarily. I mean, 8 could be on par with the industry, and that type of information I think can be really helpful as you're trying to figure out what growth looks like, or again, benchmarking. We have some other additional planning resources, and these are all available on our website. And I just took a snapshot of some of the titles. So there's a really good 12-page document about understanding your financial statements. There's a great guide to buying commercial real estate. There's a whole section on paying business debts you can't afford. I mean, real topics that oftentimes folks may not want to do a little bit of research on their own before they perhaps talk to a banker or a partner or even a business advisor. These guides can just sort of help you do a little bit of homework and really, I would say, streamline a discussion that you might have in the future and help you feel more prepared to have those discussions. And then I also just took a snapshot that many of these titles are in Spanish as well. So all available on our website. Another training opportunity that we have is the Founder Series. And this is something that we have done in conjunction with our partners in Central Virginia, the Charlottesville SBDC, and our Greater Capital Region SBDC in Richmond. So the three of us have come together. This is a course that Central Virginia and Charlottesville developed, but now we're doing it 5 times a year as a group. And so we're in the midst of it right now. And what I really like about it is that it takes a deep dive into issues that business owners are thinking about when they launch a business, but also it's a really great way to do a health check for your existing business. And so again, it's 5 series, they're in a row. Right now we're doing them on Tuesdays from 4:30 to 6:30, but we'll probably switch the time and date when we relaunch in January. This is something to kind of tuck in the back of your mind. You could do all 5 of them if you wanted to, or if there's a particular topic that jumps out to you, you might want to just drop into that session. So our session 1 talks a lot about customer discovery. And so have you made sure that whatever product or service you're offering is well positioned, that you've identified who your customer really is? And there's lots of ways that you can do that, and some really simple ways that we can provide techniques around to do some customer interviews that can just make sure that like the idea that you have is tracking with what the community is looking for. A whole session on pricing. Lots of times when folks get started in business, they might just be doing cost plus. So, okay, well, it costs me $8 to sell this product and I'll just mark it up 20%. So I'll sell it for $10. Well, there's that's a really great way when you're initially getting started. But once you've gotten some experience under your belt, there's lots of other ways that you could think about pricing. And this session takes a deep dive into that. Always good to be thinking about marketing and your brand. That's something that you'll want to revisit over and over as a business to make sure that you're staying fresh and current and attuned to what the market is looking for. We have a whole session about business models, and we take a deeper dive into different types of business plans that you can do. You don't just have to write out a 30-page business plan anymore. There's pitch decks that are becoming more popular. Financial institutions are often taking a look at pitch decks in lieu of a business plan. A business canvas model is a really great way to get a snapshot of your business on paper, at least for initial conversations. And we touch on risk too. I think the pandemic has taught all of us that risk planning is not just something that's nice to have, it's something that's really important to have for your business. And so we can talk about what some of the components of that are to make you feel like you're protected and you've got backups in place, and sometimes even backups to your backups. And then our last session is on money and record keeping, including access to capital. A great thing about record keeping, I'm sure that many folks on this call have that in place, but the SBDC network throughout the country does have an affiliation with QuickBooks. They know that we see business owners all the time, and we're a great pipeline for potential new business. So if you don't have QuickBooks, that's something that you're looking for. Through the SBDC network, you can have 30% off of QuickBooks for the first year. So something to just tuck away. And then we have some optional sessions that we do as well around starting a business, hiring employees, and then putting a pitch deck together. I also took a snapshot of some upcoming program events that are offered throughout the state. So I mentioned there are 29 SBDCs in the state of Virginia, and we all offer programming. And, COVID has shown us, just like we're here today, that a lot of things that we once did in person, we can do via Zoom or other online technologies. And as a result, the training that's being offered throughout the entire state is now opened up to the entire state. So you don't have to be in Richmond or Mary Washington or Roanoke to take advantage of some of the sessions that they're doing. And so I just wanted you to see, this is just in the next month, this month right now, the next 2 weeks, some really cool things that are coming up. There's an on-demand class that you can watch when time permits about creating a content calendar for the holidays around your social media. If you're selling B2B, business to business, and have a lot of competition, we've got a webinar upcoming about how you can distinguish yourself. Money and record keeping is always important. This is a pretty cool one, leveraging neuroscience for entrepreneurial decision making. We've got one about building out your business performance dashboard and some metrics that you can take a look at that will help you make more analytical decisions about your business, using some quantitative data in addition to what your gut is telling you and what your qualitative things are telling you. Lots of folks, if you're a small business owner, you might be managing your own website, and here's how to do that in WordPress. If you're not already using Canva, and I'm sure that many of you are, it's a really, really great and pretty simple tool that you can use to come up with flyers. You can do PowerPoint presentations in it. Mine would probably look a lot better if I had used Canva. But if you want to explore Canva or get some tips and tricks about how you can use it for your business, that would be a great webinar to attend. And again, that's one that our partners in Richmond are doing. If you're interested in craft beverage, here's how to build a great sales team around that. And then, of course, as we're looking into 2023, everybody's thinking about tax season. So if you want a little bit of a refresher about that and what you should be looking for as you head into closing out your books, that could be a great session too. So I just wanted you to, again, see a snapshot. There's probably 50 more programs that are listed online. And if you go to Virginia, SBDC's website, vsbdc.org, and just look at their events page, you'll see all of this and more. So I also wanted to talk a little bit about the partners that are a part of the Virginia Small Business Development Center, our statewide partners. We have a team that does international business development. We have a team around our craft beverage assistants. We have an ICAP team, and that stands for Innovation Commercialization Assistance Program. And then PTAC is kind of a part of the SBDC in Virginia as well. So our international trade group, they are going to be here in Virginia Beach, actually, in advance of a statewide conference that we're hosting in Norfolk. So we're taking advantage of the proximity of our partners who aren't normally, down here based in Hampton Roads, and they'll be doing a presentation for us about global expansion. So if you want to check this out, it is going to be in person at the Hive in Virginia Beach, but it'll help you start thinking about, how to get started or even expand international sales that you may be doing, how you can leverage the network of U.S. embassies overseas to your advantage, how you might want to offset costs and maximize opportunities regardless of your business stage or the scale of your business, and just the local and state resources that are available to help you grow your international sales. So there's going to be about 5 panelists, including an existing entrepreneur that can share about his export journey and how that worked for his business. So if that's something that you're interested in, I would say, definitely come visit us next Wednesday in Virginia Beach and take advantage of the program. A little more about the craft beverage assistance program. So here's all of the things that they can help with if craft beverage is something that you're interested in exploring or you're already doing. Market analysis, sales strategy, what the back of the house operations look like for critical components of your business, things that you can do to promote and market craft beverage that better articulate your product's value and how you're distinguished from other craft beverages in the market. I mean, I think that the IPA craze is waning a little bit, but good gracious, for a while there, like anytime you went to get a beer anywhere or at the grocery store, it was just like 50 million different IPAs. And so if you were brewing an amazing IPA, how would you stand out in that crowded marketplace? Well, the craft beverage assistance program would have been able to provide some insight around that. So, and they also touch base on expanding across state lines and exporting. So again, ICAP. ICAP is really for businesses that are innovation-driven startups. So if you are in a tech space or an innovation space, ICAP is the place for you. And they help, again, with ideation all the way through Series A funding. It's, again, a statewide network. They do cohorts several times a year. Right now, we have a cohort that's going on with, I think, like 3 or 4 different companies from Hampton Roads that are involved with that. There are ICAP mentors throughout the state. We have 2 ICAP mentors here in Hampton Roads. So there's just some really great expertise to take advantage of. Again, if you are a tech or innovative company, especially one that is trying to scale really big. The cool thing that they do is that they really, really focus on validating your business model, building out your team, developing an MVP. That's a minimally viable product. So what they're trying to do is like get you to test the most basic version of your product that you can in the market. Like, why build out something with a million bells and whistles until the market has told you that consumers are looking for those bells and whistles? Instead, start with the most stripped down basic version of it that you have, and then let your customers tell you what features that they want added. It's just a much more efficient and cost-effective way to grow your business. So all kinds of stuff. They've got relationships with the National Science Foundation. Their introductory course is really helpful. Again, they have like highly specialized mentors in this program, particularly around life sciences and app development that can be helpful if that's a space that you're in. And then PTAC, so I'm claiming PTAC because they're under the same umbrella that we are at George Mason University. And, you know, it's about government procurement. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, they have great one-on-one counseling that you can take advantage of, just like we have all those trainings and workshops, many of which are virtual. PTAC has those as well. And they even have a bid match service that helps you align with federal, state, and local bid opportunities that might be relevant to your business. I would also say if you aren't already SWAM certified, that might be something for you to think about as well, because even if you don't see an opportunity for that, you never know what's going to come up in the future. And if you already have the certification, then that's not something that you're having to pull together if an opportunity makes itself available. So there's other partners that we work with here at the local level, and I just wanted to highlight some of them. You may already be familiar with these, but it just never hurts to remind folks. So I mentioned SWAM, and that program is run through the Virginia Department of Small Business and Supplier Diversity. So Angie Barber is our contact here in the Hampton Roads region, and she can walk you right through that SWAM certification. And again, it can be something that is helpful, and you never know when it could be beneficial to you in the future. SCORE, great SCORE chapter out of Williamsburg, and those are oftentimes, traditionally, SCORE is Service Corps of Retired Executives, but many of the SCORE volunteers that I know are running small businesses themselves, and they just have such a passion for entrepreneurship and such a passion for helping people succeed in this space that they donate their time to advise small businesses in their areas of expertise. And so I think there's a lot of value from the SCORE community as well. If you're a veteran, VBOC, the Veteran Business Outreach Center, it happens to be located in ODU, but they serve our entire community. If you are a veteran, or I think it applies to spouses of veterans too, their Boots to Business program is excellent. It's offered both in person and online. The Women's Business Center has resources. Being on the peninsula, you know, I'm sure that many of you are familiar with Start Peninsula, but it helps you validate your business ideas. They have a great pitch competition. I think their final pitch competition for this year is actually tomorrow night. So that's even fun if you're just interested to see like what other entrepreneurs are thinking about on the peninsula and ideas that they're coming up with. And then Crimdell is a venture that started in the midst of the pandemic. So William and Mary's Mason School of Business students in the middle of the pandemic all of a sudden didn't have access to internships because, as you all probably remember too well, there was a period of time where everything just shut down. That wasn't 100% essential, and internships weren't really considered essential. So students had a lot of extra time on their hands. They were missing an opportunity to get that real world experience that they were looking for personally, and that their future employers might be looking for. And more than anything, I think that students just felt like we have all of this time and expertise. We want to do something that's going to help our local business community. We're seeing reports in the newspapers billboards and on TV, on local news, on social media. We're driving past businesses and seeing closed signs. What can we do to have an impact? So they came together and started a student advising group in collaboration with a small business development center. And, these are just like top of their game students. They all have real world expertise. They're coming from some pretty fancy companies, Google, they might have a CPA license already while they're going back to get their MBAs. And so a lot of great experience with the Cremdell network. And if you have a business plan, a business problem, or an opportunity that you would like to work on, the Cremdell network can be a really great place to get some of that advice. And it's really business consulting, and it's offered free through those students. So again, just reach out directly to the SBDC and we can get some more information. And then if there's a match, we can make that connection for you. Okay, here's another really exciting opportunity that I wanted to share. I'm not sure how many folks are familiar with LISC, but they're a national organization. I have worked with them in Mississippi. I'm aware of them through their amazing work in New York. They came to Hampton Roads about 2 years ago. And they've really hit the ground running in terms of helping the community, particularly small business and entrepreneurs. So they have this amazing new product that is just rolling out, and it's called Expand 757. It's a small business loan program. And what it does is provide 0% interest, 0 fee loans. So absolutely no really nothing on the side of the borrower or the side of the small business. You don't have to pay an application fee. Again, there's no interest. It's a 3-year loan with a 5-year amortization rate. Right, this is old, actually. I pulled it off their website a few days ago. The service area was the 7 cities, but it's now been expanded to include the same footprint that the SBDC serves. So Williamsburg, York County, James City County, all of the localities on the peninsula and across the south side are included. So if you own a business in any of those areas, you could be eligible for this loan. I don't think that loan terms get any better than what they're offering. Again, the geography has included, it now includes the entire Hampton Roads area. You do have to have been in business for 2 years, with a priority for folks who have been in business for at least 5 years. You need to have at least 2 employees. The owner can count as 1 employee. So if you are the owner, as long as you have 1 other employee, you're eligible, but sole proprietorships and nonprofit organizations are not eligible. And profitability, you need to be revenue generating between $50,000 and $1 million a year. And that's based on your most recent tax returns. Credit is not pulled for this loan, but they will run a background check. So if there are tax liens and other outstanding judgments, that could be a wrinkle, but credit score won't be one of them. So again, there is a balloon because the first 6 months of this loan, there's no note due. They want to give you a 6-month runway to use the money to grow your business. That's the purpose, is to help you grow and expand your business. So they want to give you time to do some of that before your loan payments initially start. So that means that there's a balloon at the end, but LISC is being very upfront with the community saying, hey, at the end of this, when your balloon payment is due, if you haven't factored that in enough to cover the payment of that larger payment at the end, they'll still work with businesses to just extend the payment schedule out a couple of months to allow for that. No collateral is required. It's an unsecured loan. And the loan, again, is to help businesses grow. So acceptable usages are the purchase of equipment and supplies. You can use it for your payroll, inventory, refinancing existing debt. So it's a pretty amazing product. And I wouldn't say that there's a catch, because there isn't, but there's documentation that they're looking for. And we see a lot of small businesses, this is where they can get tripped up, because they don't have all of this information at the ready, because maybe they haven't been keeping their QuickBooks up to date, or they never did a business plan, or they haven't kept their business plan current. So you can see all of the required business and financial documentation that goes along with this loan application. So that's just another really good reason to keep on top of your business organization. But if these are things that you need a little bit of extra assistance pulling together, the SBDC can be a resource for you to help with that. I would say here, I'll stop sharing now if I can get my little mouse to come back to the right screen. Regarding LISC, another part of the loan is that a session with the SBDC is required. So if you receive the loan, they ask you to meet with us for an hour just so that we can sort of help you think about all of the potential uses that you have for that loan, other ways that you could help grow or expand your business. So that is, oh, yep. Jay Grant is a great resource too. Jay is the new director of LISC Hampton Roads. So totally a great resource. And I'm just checking if there is any chat. So someone asked about training being free of charge. And I would say I did mention that our services are completely free and completely confidential. I should probably clarify a little bit. Our one-on-one business advising services are completely free. Everything is confidential. Our one-on-one business advising services are free, but some of the programs and events, there could be a nominal fee for. So there might be a $15 fee to attend some of the classes. I think one center might charge $30 for one of their programs, but it's nominal. And oftentimes centers have the caveat that if that is an issue, just reach out to them directly and explain if there's a hardship or if you'd like special consideration around that. My email address, why don't I drop it in the chat? Can I do that? It's jspiers@hrchamber.com. Let me make sure I'm spelling everything right. And the reason I have a chamber address is because the Hampton Roads, every SBDC center throughout the state has a local host partner. We have been in existence for 30 years, more than 30 years. Our local host partner has always been the Hampton Roads Chamber. So they are tremendous. The amount of in-kind support that they provide us is tens of thousands of dollars. And they also very generously provide space, which is why I'm in their offices in Norfolk. But another longtime very generous partner has been Thomas Nelson Community College, now Virginia Peninsula Community College. We do have office space there as well. Y'all may have met Deborah Hamilton Farley. She's the assistant director of the Hampton Roads SBDC, and she works out of the VPCC office.
So Jolie, I just wanted to confirm first of all, thanks for joining us today. I did want to confirm the free of charge training. And as you and I have spoken before, the online training is intended to get maybe an introduction to some things, also deep dives into other things, but people should always feel free to reach out for the counselor's time as well. So you have advisors on staff. And so I just want everybody to understand that the online resources are tremendous. There are also personal advisors at the ready. And so it's kind of a both and. It's like the perfect situation.
Exactly. But if you, for example, if you came to me and you wanted guidance on how to build a WordPress website, I would send you to the class. That's probably not because I don't have a ton of expertise around that. And the class is a more efficient way for us to share that information. But if you're wanting to sit down one-on-one to say, hey, help me build out my business plan, and we might have some online resources for that as well, but then you want to kind of confirm some of the things that you've learned, ask questions that are very specific to your business, then yep, that's where our personalized business advising comes into play.
And if people want to meet with an advisor, do they simply call up? Is there an entry, a sort of a basic intro class that you like everybody to take before they meet with an advisor, or do they just call and make an appointment?
If you are an existing business and you've been in business for, I would say, 2 years or more, you're revenue generating, then there might still be classes that we think could be a good resource for you, but you would meet with a business advisor first. In many cases, if you are a new start, or if you're in the ideation phase, if you've never owned a business before, if you've just started your business, you're not quite revenue generating, a lot of the questions and support that businesses at that level need, we address through our Business 101 class that we offer twice a month. And so we do ask that folks attend that class. It's live, but it's virtual. Find a time that works for them during the 2 times that we offer it every month. Go through that session first, just to get some good foundational questions answered. We'll be using, then the language that we're using will be clear to everyone when they meet with a business advisor. But